Thank you for staying with us. Tribe CoCreate is a cooperative business for Black and Brown small business owners, creatives, and doers in the Bronx. They'll be holding an event titled Young, Black, and Burnt Out. Here to tell us more about a Tribe CoCreate are co-founders Bianca Shaw, Angelica De La Cruz, and Noah Watford. Welcome. I'm so sorry for messing your name up.
No worries.
So tell us a little bit about this, and that's such a savvy name for the event.
Thank you.
Oh, for the event?
Yes.
Yeah, we could start with the event first.
So we're hosting an event tomorrow, actually, at the Banknote Building, 1231 Lafayette Avenue, and it's called Young, Black, and Burnt Out. And so it's an event for Black, Indigenous people of color to talk about some of the harm that we experience in the workplace that's specific to us. Talking about like some of the policies and practices that a lot of these workspaces have that are supposed to be investing in us, but they don't. And also to really talk about what does it look like to have a workspace that centers our healing, that pays us well, that centers our growth, and how we can really imagine that together.
Yeah. What type of anxieties do we face, Black and Brown people face in the workforce that kind of stay with us in our daily lives?
Many.
I think one of the anxieties is that we don't have a clear understanding of like our roles, and that could really get into the way of like our confidence and our daily, just our daily tasks.
Yeah. I would also say that for many of us, we're put into positions without really folks like investing in our growth. And so, sometimes we're put into like director positions or managerial positions, and without like effective supervision, without like, having supervisors who are really invested in our personal and professional development, we often are put in positions, and then when we don't do right, we're kind of kicked out, right? And so like we think that it's really oppressive to put people of color in positions where we're not adequately trained to do that, and then like fire us, right? Because a lot of stress comes with that, a lot of like imposter syndrome comes with that, where we already feel like we're not good enough, and we're already working in spaces that were not created by us. Most of the time the people on top don't look like us, and so when we're not invested in, like that's really harmful to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's rewind here. How did Tribe CoCreate even begin?
We were burnt out.
We were burnt out, and we were also just dealing with, we're all millennials, and so we were dealing with like our millennial like quarter life crisis, right? Like really just trying to figure out what our purpose in life was. We all have like so many talents and abilities, and we were just thinking about like how can we really put that out into the world. But then also really realizing that, if you're from the Bronx, the likelihood that you have a mentor or that you have the financial ability to go back to school, or you just even have the time to like focus on yourself and like develop your capacity is not real when we're all just trying to survive out here. And so we were like, well, we really need a community of people to support us in that. But where does that exist? Like co-working spaces exist here, but not with the intention of like really building community for Black and Brown people. And so Tribe was created as a way to build community, to support people in developing their businesses or developing their art or like, centering their healing, and really like to connect folks to resources. And as I mentioned before, like really centering our healing, because we know that like success is important, right? Like we all want to have money, we all want to get free, but what does that look like if we're not healed? If we're not putting that healing back out into our community.
So me and Bianca actually work together at this nonprofit. We kind of, the first day we met each other, we're like, oh, another Black person in here. Hi. And we like, hey. And we kind of just gravitated to each other. And her and I and a couple of other friends that worked at the, nonprofit, we kind of created our own little tribe and kind of created like weekly circles and like, what does it really look like to, heal within each other. So yeah, that's how Tribe actually began.
So within your company, you kind of created something like a tribe before Tribe even began.
Absolutely.
Right? That's beautiful.
Yeah,
we're like, if we could create this for ourselves here, how wonderful would that be for us to bring that into the community?
Yeah.
And then how does the meetings look when you walk into the meeting or a Tribe meeting? How does that look? And not meaning physical, but I mean, what is the conversations like? What do you all speak about?
Yeah.
What does that healing look like?
Yeah.
The first thing that we do before we even start our meetings, we check in with each other. We check in with how our days, been going. We're goofballs.
Our accessibility needs.
Yes, our accessibility needs. Tribe is corny, everyone. But we have a lot of fun before during our meetings. We make sure to incorporate fun in that as well.
Yeah. I would also say though that we're also thinking about how to to hold each other accountable with
would say
love,
accountability.
right? And so like it's really great to have a place where you feel welcomed. It's really great to have a place where people are checking in on you, like and really intentionally being like, how are you doing? How can I support you? But then also to say like, what is it that you want to get done, right? Like if I love you, I want to make sure that you're actually working towards your goals, and I want to make sure that I'm doing that in a way that supports you and doesn't, you know, shame you in that. And so we're always thinking about like, how can we really support each other's growth? Like that's what we think love is. It's like, I want to support you in like your healing. I want to support you in your growth. I want to make sure that you become your best self.
Right. And then to you, Noah, how do you develop these relationships, do you think, with the community?
I think we're very intentional when it comes to the community. So we actually go out and instead of like just popping up with Tribe, we actually, with the Green Worker Cooperatives, which is the school we actually went through and graduated from, we had to do a lot of interviews with the community. So asking the community, like, what do they want to see at Tribe? How do they want Tribe to be? Like, what are some of the resources that they need in order for a Tribe to be, like, in order for them to feel like their business could be successful and thriving and sustainable.
And not only that, but actually showing up for the community, whoever, whenever they have any events going on, we come and we support, we ask how can we support them. So actually just not saying like, oh yeah, I'm here for community, but actually showing up and being there for them.
Being accountable to our words.
And then what are some upcoming events or spaces that you're going to have?
Oh yes, we actually host monthly pop-up co-working days, and basically that's just even actually bi-weekly. We're actually doing it now every Saturdays, every other Saturdays and Wednesdays, and that's just basically for people to come in, get some work done, gather. You know, like Bianca said, there's no spaces in the Bronx for that, and there's what, 2 co-working spaces that really no one really know about in the Bronx. So, you know, it's important for us to create this space for people to come and just heal and get their work done and share resources with one another. We're going to start hosting also collective wisdom every month, where it's just like if you have a business that you have up and coming, just to, you know, share some resources, get some feedback on if, like, you know, if this is what you really need or what community really needs. And tomorrow, our Young Black and Burnt Out.
I will be there.
I will
be there. And now I know that you all are fundraising. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we do not currently have our own physical space. Thanks to Green Worker Cooperatives, we've been able to connect to an existing co-working space in the Bronx. But we want our own space, right? We want to have our own space where folks can come and gather and build community. And so we are currently going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign, and we're going to be asking community to support us in raising money so that we can secure a location. We want to be in the Bronx forever. And so, you know, we don't really want to lease. We want to be able to buy land, which is really important for, especially with everything going on in the Bronx right now, that we secure a building that is for, by, and with community. And so, yeah, look out for that. We're going to, you know, be launching that very soon, and we're asking community to support us in that so that we don't have to look for outside folks to support us.
We're trying to raise at least $100,000.
Wow.
At minimum.
And part of our fundraising too is our wonderful merch that you see all of us.
Yes, I was just going to ask.
We currently don't have an online platform to buy this, but please hit us up in our DMs. So follow us on our Instagram.
Yes, follow us at tribe_CoCreate. And so all of our shirts really have special meaning to us. I'm wearing the Reclaiming the Future of the Bronx shirt, which is really just about like, what does it look like if we invest in like Black and brown folks, right? What does it look like if we invest in the people who have always been here to really take over, right? Like we really feel like business and supporting Black and brown businesses is like a social justice issue. And we know so many amazing people who want to give back to their community in like really intentional ways. And Angelica's wearing a Hustle and Heal shirt because we believe that like hustling is just not about chasing money, right? It's really about like doing things again to be very intentional and also centering your healing.
And to be free.
Yes, and to be free and to work towards liberation.
And I'm wearing the Collective Wisdom, Collective Care shirt, which essentially means collective wisdom. So sharing your insights, sharing your resources, sharing your creativity with the world, right? Don't leave it for just self. And collective care is like healing with one another. Whatever that looks like to you, whatever healing looks like to you.
And I wanted to ask you, the Reclaiming the Future of the Bronx, why is it so important for you to have your space in the Bronx? I know you were saying, but that is a big conversation right now. And, you know, I meet so many people that want to go to like trendier areas like Williamsburg or the city or some things like that. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us because we're all Bronx Bronx residents. Noah and I were born and raised here. Angelica came here from the Dominican Republic. And we've seen so much how our community has changed, which to some folks might look great, but we know that that change is happening without our people, right? And we know that gentrification makes the Bronx seem like very trendy, and we're showing up as like the new hotspots. But like people who have always been in community, who has always been doing this work, are getting left out of that. And so when we say reclaim the future of the Bronx, we know that people already have their hands deep in the Bronx and have all these ideas. But again, community is being left out of those conversations. And so our work is to invest in community, to invest in the people who have always been here, who have amazing talents and ability, but don't always have the access to resources, whether that's social capital or financial capital. And so we know that if we invest in these folks, that like the Bronx will be flourishing, and we don't need to like change the name of our neighborhood to do that, and we don't need another coffee shop to do that. Like folks have everything that they need here, they just need to be invested in.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining
you.
us. This
Thank you for
event
having
sounds
us.
amazing. Yes. Young, Black, and Burnt Out will be taking place on Thursday, August 22nd from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 1231 Lafayette Avenue, second floor in the Bronx. Visit tribecocreate.com and follow them at tribe_cocreate on Instagram for more information. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.